But before we do that, there's always something. Hello, we're back here in the shop. Last thing I think you saw, we got the grill shell put on, and then I realized that I might have to take it back off to finish up a fuel fitting that I've been waiting on getting. So, not gonna do anything else to secure that on quite yet. I got the strut rods. They go from the front of the grill shell here back to the cowl. Got those sandblasted. I'm going to put a coat of paint on those. And all the gas tank, all the fuel tank stuff is painted and dried up, so I can get that put in for final time. And I have this brake line that I can get installed. I don't know if I have couplers for that brake line, so maybe I can't get the brake line installed. All these things, all these little things that you have to have. Oh, I think there's one. I think there's two. We might be in business. So, let's see. How are you guys doing this evening? You guys enjoying this truck? I'm ready to enjoy it. I'm ready to be done working on it and enjoy it. So we have couplings for the brake lines. Put in the comments of all the vehicles that we've worked on so far, what's you guys' favorite? What do you want to see worked on more? And maybe, what one do you want to see us go on a road trip in? That'd be kind of fun. Alright, well, I think what we're going to do first is get this gas tank slid into position and get it mounted up and ready to go. So let's get at it. Got right stuff all over me, but got it in. I just put a little bit on these rubbers to hopefully keep them from sliding around and that. One thing I ended up having to do on these brackets that I made is I didn't have enough room to get a regular nut on there between the tank and the frame back here. So I got these coupling nuts. Went to Cow Ranch and got these coupling nuts, then stuck them in the lathe at work and turned them down to where that would fit up in there, and I can use a wrench down here on the lower side. I'm gonna have to cinch them up and then back them off so I can get a lock washer on there, because I don't have enough threads hanging down at the moment to get the lock washer on that nut. So I'm going to find me a wrench here that I can cinch that up with real quick. It's a little bit of a flawed design, I guess you could say, but I designed it, so I get to use a wrench. We'll get these snugged up and then catch you on whatever we get going on next. Alright, so I ran into a little hiccup with the right stuff. The nozzle on it is not going to allow me to save it for later. So I'm gonna do, I was gonna put a little bead of this stuff around the inside of the cab where the back window goes. Sorry. I was gonna put a little bead of this stuff, of this right stuff, in this channel right here where that rubber seal on the back window seats against the cab, because that's where it leaked out last time. And if I can prevent that from happening again, I sure would love to, because the screws that hold this window in tight, I don't know as they hold it in super tight enough to get a really good seal on it. So what I've got to do is, the window fits in that space just a little bit loose, so I'm gonna have to put some underneath the corners. I think just a little piece of that rubber like I used on the fuel tank. Put a little piece of that under each corner to hold this window up off the bottom till the glue sets. So I've got to stick the glass in the frame, in the cab, kind of see about where it needs to be. I'll get some pieces made and then put some glue in it, stick it in, screw it in, and we'll have glass. We'll have some glass installed. Might actually not be too bad. Maybe it's the width that's somewhat concerning to me. There was one direction that I thought, oh, that doesn't fit super awesome. I think that might be side to side. Let's see here. Yeah. Up and down's gonna be good. So we're gonna take this, oops, got a little heavy there. Heavy there. Ah, Cheese Whiz can is popping. All right. Now, I think I'm in a hurry and stick a piece of tape around that metal on the outside, just so I don't get glue smeared 100% everywhere out here. Guess I gotta put the glass in before I put the frame in. Could still use a little glue there. Probably should have put rubber gloves on so I didn't have black hands for a week. Alright, that should be enough of that. Now we'll stick this in. Grab some screws. Going pretty good. Yeah, I don't think it hurts to put a little Alright, we'll go clean up the gasket maker out on the outside and check that window off the list. We got the tank in and we got the window in. It looks so nice. We got these strut rods painted for the core support. I got this little guy, little adapter to go from our flex hose from the rear diff up to the frame. Screw this in and then I can screw the hard line into it. Start running that forward to the master cylinder up here. So that's what I'm gonna get going on. Alright, that went pretty slick. Got that hooked up, bent around, ran down the frame rail, under here, and two right here under the steering. I gotta figure out how I want to route it around that stuff and bend a piece to get in there. But my brake line cutter isn't up to the job. The wheel is worn out and I need to get a new one, so I'm gonna have to hold off on that in order to cut that piece to fit in between there. So I'm gonna call that a night and we'll pick you guys up the next time. Hello, we are back out here in the shop working on this old girl. getting ready to make some more progress. I got my piece of sheet metal out because we got to fill in this hole here, give us something to put our feet on. But before we do that, there's always something. Before we do that, we have to finish building a cross member to hold the transmission up. I was originally planning on bringing some sort of mount off of this existing cross member, but it just ended up being so far down, and then with me having to trim it out and make it lower profile, I thought it would just have too much twist on that cross member. So I'm just gonna build a little one that'll bolt in across the frame rails, tie into this existing transmission mount down here, rubber mount, and call it good. So I kind of did a little bit of figuring on it, dug through my metal, found the last piece of 2-inch angle that I had. So I'm going to cut this in half, and that'll be our sections that bolt to the cross member. I found this piece of 1x2 rectangle that is like the exact width to fit in between the frame rails. So we'll cut this in half, weld each half on each end, and then I have this piece of channel iron. I'll just cut a little tab off so that I can have some support to hold that from twisting. So that's the plan. Should be pretty easy. Should be able to whip it up pretty quick, and check that off the list of things to do. So we're gonna get to it. Alright, so I got it held up in there, kind of clamped in place, tacked a little bit, so I'm just going to do a little bit of weld here to hold it where it needs to be, and I'll pull it out and do a finish weld on it. Alright, now we'll just drill some holes in that through the frame so we can bolt it in, and then we'll know how long to cut our tab to mount to our rubber mount. I know it's dark, but my shop light broke. The bulb in it went out. So I don't know how much you'll be able to see, but grab some bolts. Well, I guess I can just measure this quick. So our hole is 2 1/4 from the front edge. Got that welded up. We'll get that bolted in and be ready for the next thing. Start on floors. Yes! Alright, I said I was gonna get that bolted in and start on the floors, but I figured I probably ought to slap a coat of paint on it quick. So I'm gonna slap a coat of paint on that, and while it's drying, I've got to pull the core support back off so I can finish the fuel line plumbing and that front brake, just that one little short piece, that the front portion of the rear brake line, hard line. So while the paint on that's drying, and pull that apart, finish that up so that I can mount the core support on in place for good. I think that's the last thing I need to do before I can mount that on and leave it on. So slap a coat of paint on that quick, touch up a couple spots that I keep scratching and messing up, and then get going on those brake lines. So I used the stock fuel lines to come down through here, and then just left a little bit of rubber on them where we cut them off. So what I've got to do is I've got to get this nipple in there and then hook it to that flared hard line fitting there. But they didn't have, the store didn't have the size of nipple I needed with the size of hard line that I had. So I had to get this adapter. They only had it in male thread, not a female thread. So I had to get this coupler and then put that into it. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how this works out, because I don't really have enough room to put all this hullabaloo in there. But it's got to go in there, so we'll see what we can get figured out. It's a lot of stuff squeezed through there, but looks like it's kind of working. Gosh, dang it. Oh, whew. Did not fit. That in there like so. Bend there. I had to cut this off so I can get it fit. Sorry it's so dark, guys. I guess I need to get me another light. Okay. That's going to come through like that. Got the line all bent and crimped and ready to go. Just going to check these fittings up here. going into the proportioning valve. Alright, just gotta climb out, tighten that fitting, and our brake lines are all done. And we just gotta bench bleed the master cylinder. Alright, we got all those tightened up. We just have this one right here to tighten. And our brake lines are finished. And the only thing we got to do with brakes is bench bleed the master. Sick. Right, now that we got the brake lines done, put the core support back on, and I don't know, let's see if this paint's dried up a little. Ooh, still just a little tacky. So probably put that on in the morning and call it an evening. So I'm gonna get the core support put on, and we will see you guys on the next video. So make sure you like, subscribe, share this with your family and friends. Visit the store, buy you a shirt. We appreciate all that you guys do, for all the comments and everything that you guys. I hope you're enjoying. Anyways, have a good one. We'll see you next time. Alright, thanks for sticking around till the end. I know I said goodbye, but that's kind of cool looking. Is that on there finally? It's coming together. It's coming together.